Welcome back to the Grenadier podcast, Real Estate Uncovered. Today, the tables get turned, the revenge is on, I'm being interviewed. You obviously love this business. Tell me what you love the most about it. Today, an absolute exclusive. Welcome back to the Grenadier podcast, Real Estate Uncovered.
All right, Lisa, we're flipping the situation and we're going to ask you some questions today. So welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're all a bit concerned as to whether or not you can sit there and answer questions rather than ask them, but we'll see how we go.
Totally.
Okay, so first question, tell us a little bit about you and your journey in real estate.
Wow, I don't think we've got that long. But the very abridged version is I was an accountant and I thought to myself one day, Lisa, if you won lotto, what would you do with your life?
Okay.
And I thought I'd go and buy and sell houses or sell real estate. And so I thought, well, why wait to win lotto? Let's just go do it now. And I was very lucky. I joined Grenadier in the city office, and a couple of weeks into my new sales role, Cedric King came to me and said, Lisa, would you like to work with Alison Aitken?
Wow.
And I was like, she's that really scary woman. So I was very scared, but I knew, model the best, you'll just have an amazing time. So I worked for Ali for 2 years. Which is like 10 real estate years worth of learning. She was just incredible and changed everything about my life. And maybe I changed a little bit for her. I don't know. So I was really lucky. I did my papers at the same time in terms of I really wanted to own a real estate company. That was kind of my vision. Mm-hmm. And so did those papers, stayed at city office, and went out on my own because I knew I had to kind of grow my own profile if I wanted to be a business owner. And while I was doing my papers at Massey, I met a couple of other Harcourt's business owners and they recruited me away from Grenadier.
How dare they?
I know, but before I left, because I loved Grenadier and I was very loyal, I went and spoke with Robert and Andy and said, this is what's happened. I really don't want to leave. Is there any opportunity for me here? And really, there wasn't a lot of opportunity at the time. Mm-hmm. But at the back of my mind, I wanted to leave the door open because I knew maybe I'd go out into the world, get some experience and come back. And that's kind of what happened. I went off and managed and owned another office for 7 years. And then I became an auctioneer working for another Harcourt's franchise. And when Robert built the building at Morehouse Ave and I came to auction day when the building was opened by John Key, I thought, Lisa, if you're really serious about being an auctioneer, you need a gig up on that podium.
Amazing.
And I put it out in the universe and thought, how do I do this? I'm just going to put it out there. And one day Robert McCormick rang me and said, Lisa, we're looking for a branch manager at Avonhead. Would you be interested? And I said, only if I can auction. And I know that was quite a hard decision for Andy because Avonhead was his baby and he really just wanted a manager. He didn't want an auctioneer. He already had a couple of them. And so we did a deal. We had a couple of meetings. We did a deal that I could come and manage Avonhead and call auctions for Avonhead only. And I was the only female auctioneer and I really had to prove myself to Grenadier. And I think, 10 years later, I've been back at Grenadier and it's just home to me.
We have a lot of people that end up coming home to Grenadier. Why do you think that is?
I just think these people are my tribe. They're very down-to-earth people. There's no sort of fakeness, if you like, or they say one thing and perhaps do another, and that's no disrespect to any other franchise, but I just feel like these are my people.
Yeah.
And Andy has just been incredible to me, and we don't always agree about things, but we respect each other, and we always actually have the best intentions, and we're heading in the same direction. We just go about it in a slightly different way.
Very different ways.
He thinks I'm a bit woo-woo, and that's okay. And I love his brutal honesty.
Absolutely. You know where you stand?
I totally know where I stand, and I respect him hugely. He's very, very clever.
Yeah, he is. And I think that also you're quite goal-driven and vision-orientated in your journey as well, to be able to sort of see the foresight of, I want to go into real estate, I want to go into management, and I want to go into auctioneering. What is it that you think makes you so driven in those areas?
I think I'm always wanting to challenge myself to be the very best version of who I am. And the really weird thing is, I came in wanting to be a business owner. That was my goal. Got my goal, and after 7 years, I realized, oh, shoot, I don't know if this is actually what I want. I ended up driving to work crying every day. Like, I don't know that this is my path. And so my husband and I went on an OE for 9 months. We were very lucky. We traveled the world. And I really didn't know if I'd come back to real estate. I was quite burnt out. And, a good friend said, come and work in my franchise. And she really helped rebuild me. And that's when the spark for auctioneering was born. And so I'm always open to what the universe presents to me. And I think I've given up me thinking I know all the goals. The universe knows my path, and I just trust that now.
Yeah, and it works for you. So
and it works for me, even though it sounds woo-woo to everyone else.
That's okay. You can be as woo-woo as you want. Andy's not here, so it's fine. In thinking about real estate, it's quite different to accounting.
Yes.
Is there anything that when you came into it or being in it for so long now that you think, I'd really love it if I could just change that one thing, and what would it be?
I think when I was an accountant, people trusted me because I had the word accountant after my name. And so that trust was given from the get-go. And when I became a real estate agent, that trust was whipped away straight away. And I found that really difficult to live with, that I was the same person, yet the public did not trust me. And, that's 23 years ago, so the industry's come a long way. But I just feel like we should be treated like other professionals, accountants, lawyers, doctors, dentists, teachers, nurses, real estate consultants. This is a really demanding job. It requires a high level of skill and a high level of vulnerability and resilience. And I just would change the perception of, people knowing the absolute ends of the earth we go to get our clients across the line.
100%. I think the reputation still has a lot of work to have done on it, unfortunately. And I don't think that necessarily the agents are doing anything wrong. It's just the perception is out there. I think we've got some agents in Grenadier that are hugely humble and actually work so hard and have such great ethics and morals. It is a real shame that people can't see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it has come a long way. There's still a way to go, though.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so tell me the best piece of advice you've ever been given by somebody in real estate.
Oh, my goodness. The best piece of real estate advice is probably the word next.
Yep.
Next. Okay, that didn't work out. Next, move on. Don't get stuck don't get bogged down in the things that don't go well.
Yeah.
Just move on. Next. And look, Alison Aitken, she is amazing. The advice and everything she gave me just set me up so very well. And she never dwells on stuff. She moves on really quick. Like, you could have an argument about something with her one day. The next day she's back. It's a clean slate. We're moving on. We're into something else,
Yeah.
We lost a deal. Next. We gained something. Great, So I think just being able to move on. Next.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, if you're dwelling on something for too long, you're going to miss another opportunity, right?
100%.
Real estate is dynamic. It's always happening. So you can't sort of rest on your laurels, and you're going to miss something else. So you've got to move on.
I think take the learning. What could have I done better?
Yeah.
Is there anything I can change or control? No, move on next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Worst piece of advice.
Worst piece of advice. Buy a European car.
Who gave you that?
I don't know. I guess people kind of think that you should sort of fake it till you make it. And for the first 3 cars in real estate, they were all BMWs. And as much as I love a BMW, actually European cars cost a lot of money to maintain.
Yeah.
And I kind of love my Subaru now.
Good for you. I've got a Mazda, right? There's no judgment here. It's all good. Let's just go back a little bit to those times when you were managing and it was obviously a little bit challenging. Why do you think it is that people get into management sometimes and they don't realise how hard it is?
Yeah, I think perhaps for some people the kudos, it's kind of a cool thing to say you're a business manager or branch manager or business owner. And I think for me, it was about ego. It was like, I know that I've made it if I'm an owner of a branch, right? Or managing a branch. But actually, once I got involved in it, I did love my team. And possibly I loved them a bit too much. I felt every emotion with them. And after a while, that burns you out.
Yeah.
So when I came back to Grenadier and took over Avonhead, I loved them, but I learnt to have weekends off, to have some time out, to refuel. We moved out to the country where I'm quite a hermit at the weekends. Yes, you could always get me for advice, but it was really my recharge time. And so I was a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and loved managing that branch. But yeah, you do have to be able to refill your tank quite often because you're always putting other people ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I think that people think, oh, cool, I'm not going to have to work at night and I won't have to work the weekends and I'll have a salary and I'll have the status. But, there's a lot of other stuff that goes along with it and a lot of people depending on you.
I think the closest I would say role to being a branch manager is a parent. You are a parent to 18 adults and you are at their not beck and call, but they need your support. And when they need you, you need to be on. And so, you owe it to them if you're going to take on that role that you will care and look after them and their clients. And it's almost a 24/7 basis. I have to leave the country to get a break.
And you're probably quite empathetic, so you would have taken that on maybe more than other people would as well, which is a nice thing.
I think that is both one of my gems, but also one of my downfalls.
Yeah. So you talk about retreating to the country.
Yes.
So we see a certain type of Lisa, which is always full energy, full noise. You're either doing a podcast or you're doing reserve sets or auctioneering, always full of beans.
Yes.
What do you like at home?
I'm full of beans in the morning, and when my kids were teenagers, they're like, Mum, like just take it down a notch. They couldn't cope with me in the morning. I'm a real morning person. Okay. By about 8:30 at night, I'm getting very quiet. But to be honest, my natural personality is quite introverted.
Okay.
So when I'm in an area that I love, like the auction room and masterclass and training or whatever, managers meetings, I'm a bit too animated. I am full on because I'm passionate and I love what I do.
Yeah.
But at home, I am in my PJs. I love Netflix. I love a little bit of, reality TV. I'm quite quiet and subdued. And Craig gets a chance to talk.
Lucky him.
Lucky him.
Tell us something else that people wouldn't know about you.
Ooh, what would people not know? I'm pretty much an open book. People can ask me anything. I think probably people would be surprised how quiet I am. Like if you gave me the option of going out for a beautiful dinner and, great conversation at night or going home and getting in my PJs and sitting by the fire with the dog, I'd take being by the fire with the dog.
Nice.
I am a real homebody.
Yeah.
And your home is pretty special to you.
Of course. Tell me, what is your number one highlight in your real estate career so far?
Honestly, there has been a lot, and I am very, very lucky that I've had the most amazing mentors and people. But I think selfishly, my number one highlight would be Harcourt's Auctioneer of the Year. That just was an absolute milestone, especially working around the talented auctioneers I do. Ned Ellison's just been an absolute sweetheart to me, and he means the world to me, and I've seen him win so many times. I'm like, when am I going to win?
And do you think that you're sort of proud that maybe that's getting some more women into the auctioneering arena as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that, certainly I've had a part to play in that. I've just been down and judging LVD auction comp, an international competition, and the woman auctioneers coming through are fantastic, and even in the Canterbury marketplace now we're seeing multiple auctioneers. It's just been great to bring that to fruition. But there was some cool auctioneers before me, Marianne Tolich, Sabina Davidson, they led the way, and I'm so grateful to them.
Nice. Are we going to see you in any more competitions going forward?
Well, this is a good question, Anna, because I had retired 10 years of competing.
I thought so.
It does take a lot out of you, but there has been a change in the rules this year, and that the Austros, which is the big international competition, New Zealand could only send 2 representatives. Now we've got the ability to send 4. Mm-hmm. So you never know. Maybe next year, 2026, I might compete. I don't know. We'll see.
Watch this space. Amazing. Well, it's been lovely to get to know you a little bit better, and thank you for going on to the other side of the table. And thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you so much for tuning into the Grenadier podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Please give us 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it.